Hi everyone, welcome to the channel dedicated to sharing the profound insights and wisdom of Andromedan contactee Alex Collier. If you're new here, you're in for a journey that expands your mind and consciousness, bringing you closer to understanding the messages from the fifth density Andromedan extraterrestrials. For those returning, we're grateful for your continued support. Before we dive into today's enlightening content, we have a small favor to ask. If you find value in the knowledge shared in this video, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and clicking the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your engagement helps us amplify Alex Collier's message, allowing us to reach a larger audience with these vital messages. We'd also love to hear from you, so please engage with the comments below. Whether it's a question, your thoughts, or even just an emoji for the sake of engagement, every comment counts. We read every single comment, and your feedback is incredibly valuable to us, as it all contributes to our mission of expanding this community. So please don't hesitate to leave your thoughts below. Additionally, if you'd like to support us further, consider giving a super thanks tip by clicking the heart with the $sign. This small gesture allows us to continue bringing you more of Alex's messages, unfiltered and directly from his lifelong experiences with the Andromedans. Today's video includes a compilation of several of the many important questions Alex Collier has received over the past few years, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video.
Alex, was
Yes.
Jesus crucified on a cross on any timeline ever? Thank you.
I bet you dropped the mic on that one, didn't you? Look, it is the A's perspective that the biblical Jesus is a composite character. Were there Jesuses? Yes, there were. They have said that the rebel leader, that there was a Yeshua who died at Masada. They're crystal clear about that. Now, we do have the Shroud of Turin, which is a fascinating artifact. Absolutely fascinating, and it's something I continue to research. But what's interesting is that in the Dead Sea, in the 50s, there were other discoveries. And one of those discoveries were copper tablets or books written around the same time as the Nag Hammadi libraries or the Dead Sea Scrolls, but these were etched in copper. And they tell the story about a prophet who was born to a woman that had not been with a man. Now, there's still a lot about those texts that we don't know. But what's really interesting is that when we look at the story of Jesus, we know 3 years. The other 30 years we know next to nothing about. Why is that? Who was Jesus? Who is the man on the Shroud of Turin? Now, it's interesting that when it was decided by the Vatican to allow testing, their biggest concern was that they were going to discover that the man on the cloth wasn't dead. That was their biggest concern, which is why they delayed the idea of testing. Now, why would the church have that fear that the man on the cloth who had been crucified wasn't dead? Now, you could say, well, they were concerned because maybe he had risen. We don't know that. There's so much about Jesus we don't know. But there's also another personage who lived at that same time, whose name was Rabbi Roy, R-O-I. There was also Apollonius of Tyana, Saul of Tarsus. They're all the same person. That the church labeled the Antichrist. Well, Vicar of Christ actually means Antichrist or other Christ, and that's the title of the Pope. But this Rabbi Roy, R-O-I, it's very, very interesting that you have two Caesars and two popes that wrote edicts that if the Roman legions ever come across anything written by this Rabbi Roy, R-O-I, they are to destroy it immediately. Why? What's the story behind that? So the fact of the matter is, we don't know. We simply don't know. And if you look at the history of the church, if you look at the symbology of the church, there's something that isn't right there. And I'm being kind here because I know this is a touchy subject and I simply don't know the full story yet. And I suspect that information will come out by those who actually have that actual history, like maybe the Templars, maybe they know the full story, because they challenged the Pope and the Vatican on several things. Why did the church brand Mary Magdalene a whore? It's an absolute lie. It's an absolute lie. No way was that true. So there's a lot of things we don't know, and there's a lot of things we do know. It won't be long. It will not be long before we know. But just remember that if Jesus did say, "These things I do, ye shall do greater, if ye have faith." That would imply that we're all brothers and we're all sisters. And we're all sons and daughters of the Creator by virtue of our souls. Not our physicality, but our souls. I'm treading water here very, very carefully.
You said that you have defended humanity to the A's. What does that mean? Your last webinar underscored a high sense of urgency to decide what we want. I have some ideas of how we can come together to define, envision, and communicate what we want, says Miri O.
Well, Mary, let's just look at things that are happening in the world. We have major disclosure across the board about everything. We have a pharmaceutical industry that we have trusted for 100+ years to help heal, um, that now we've clearly come to understand has actually been working against and has betrayed the people. We have governmental structures that are involved in trafficking, embezzlement, treason, sedition, uh, all sorts of nefarious things, including satanic worship. And these structures now are all crumbling and coming down. We have a monetary system that is collapsing because it wasn't real. It was forced enslavement. We have religious systems that have espoused their their authority from God to only betray and lie to the people. We are now finding out that we're not alone in the universe and we never have been. We're now beginning to find out the history of our planet goes back at least 20 million years. Of civilizations on this planet go back at least 20 million years. Even if it wasn't us, there were societies here that were off world that colonized Earth and Mars and other places. We now realize that there are multiple dimensions. In fact, science can already prove 9. They know there's 11. Some people are even postulating that there's a 12, which there is. So people are paying attention. That's all good news. We understand free energy is true. It's real. It exists. It's natural. All these things are coming down. And as they collapse, what's going to replace it? Again, I get back to the vacuum. What's going to replace all of this structure as it collapses, which it must? What's going to replace all those structures? Do we give our power away and say, please save us? Please save us. We'll do anything you say. You just fix this for us because we don't want to take responsibility for it. Is that what we're going to do? Are we going to do that shit again? Are we going to play that game one more time? No. Most of us are not. By knowing what you want, you begin to create it and build it. You bring it to you. And the more of us that are there in that place, we will realize that we have a very similar vision. And as it comes into view, we manifest it into the physical realm of third and fourth and then fifth density, because we're the creators of it, because we're the ones who called it forth, it's ours. It doesn't belong to anybody else. It's ours. And therefore, we naturally will fill the void and the vacuum. And the power will be with the people for the first time in tens of thousands of years. Hence, my urgency. You don't wait till the shit completely collapses and everything's gone and say, well, what do we do now? No. We have to be proactive. We have to start building what we want on the ruins of what's collapsing. That's how it works. That's how civilizations survive. Okay, we don't let it all collapse and say, look up to the sky and say to the mothership, can you save us? No, wrong answer. That's totally the wrong answer. And it's not what they want to do either. They don't want to babysit us. One, we're an unruly bunch still. We're a very unruly bunch. But we're the bunch, we're the unruly ones. We know each other. So this has to be us. This has to be us to do this. And we've been asking for this, we've been praying for it, and here it comes. Okay? Here it comes. I don't want Fortune 100 companies stepping in saying, okay, we're going to do this for you. I don't want BlackRock to do it. I don't want Vanguard. I don't want Chase Manhattan Bank. No thanks. No thanks. We saw what they've done already. They could have fixed this shit anytime in the last 100 years. Instead, they stole everything that they could get their hands on and plowed us into the ground. No. They walked the plank. It's time for them to walk the plank. Okay? We are the captains now. We're the captains of our own ships. So we have to do this. We have to fill the void, that vacuum.
Hello, Alex. With fake Biden threatening China and stories of a planned China invasion on the US and nukes in crates, please share what the A's have said regarding nuclear weapons being disallowed and that this won't happen.
You already know. You put it in your question. You put it in your question. And it's not just the A's. Other star nations have also said the same thing. You can go all the way back to the late 90s to the Disclosure Project that Dr. Greer championed, which in my opinion was his finest work. They made it perfectly clear none of this shit was ever going to be used because it messes with them. And if you're a child and you're using matches and you're hurting yourself and others, the adults take the matches away. Well, the adults are taking the nukes away. Now, I know that there's talk about dirty bombs. I don't know if that falls into the category because it's not a nuclear explosion. But I have absolutely no fear that a nuclear weapon's going to go off. Absolutely none. It's not going to happen. Because all you're doing is tearing a rift in another dimension, creating more shit for them to fix. And they're here to clean house of the regressives, which has been done. And now they're assisting, helping us to clean house of all the traitors that have been controlling, manipulating, and harming humanity. The adults are here, and they've taken the matches away. It's what it is. It's what it is. And I'm very, very comfortable with that. We've just got to step up. We have got to We've got to move forward and take responsibility once we understand what's been happening. Once we understand the problem areas, once we see the void that is needs to be filled, where these regressive systems of power have been removed or have been collapsed, we have to fill them with humanity, with benevolence, with compassion, with love, with self responsibility, with the intention to rebuild humanity, to empower all of humanity. We can't create the old system because we're only going to take ourselves to the same place. If we carry the bricks that enslaved us into the future, we're only going to rebuild that shit. It all has to go. Everything we're going to be creating is new. And guys, we can do it. We're incredibly creative. We have a knowledge base within us which we don't even appreciate or understand now. So we know and we will know what to do. But we have to fill those voids with us and say with a clear voice, you are not going to enslave us anymore, ever. It's not going to happen. And we have to stand united together and protect ourselves. And in that process, they will take their place, the White Hats, the Alliance, they will take their place, and they will assist us in empowering humanity to move forward and to create a reality we want, one that benefits everyone, whatever that's going to look like. But if we do this together with the intention of protecting each other, it can't fail. Now, I want to remind you, this already exists in the future. We're going from here now to that point. You understand? So for those of you who time travel, for those of you who travel outside your body at night, if you go to that point and bring that knowledge back to the present, it'll all happen very quickly. Do you follow? You follow what I'm saying? If it's already there in the future, if it's already happened in the future, we just need to take that point and bring it back to here in the present. And then what happens? The 2 points become synonymous. They intertwine and we're there. You understand? That's how this works. It's like ET's going back in time. They fold space. This is no different for us. This is absolutely no different. Except we're here now and we need to take the future and bring it back to us. It's no different. But we're the ones that have to do this.
Hello, Alex. Hi, Alex. I'm late in the game and learning about you and catching up. I'm listening to your book now, and I'm flabbergasted by the dates you were talking about. My guess is that we have been so asleep that this wake-up call could never have happened then. Can you speak to the evolution of what's going on now and how you've handled it? You are truly amazing. This has to be very slow and painful to watch. Thank you for your backbone and faith.
Well, thank you for those kind words. The journey for me uh, has been up and down. There have been many times I wanted to get off the journey. There were many times I didn't think I could do the journey. Um, there was a period of time where I walked away from it all to start a family and devote all my energy to that. But you know, the insanity of the world, the ridiculous decisions being made in the world, and the constant bullshit narrative just kept drawing me back into this. Because I saw where it was going. I mean, it was obvious where it was going to go. Um, and then it would be people like yourself, and people on this channel, those people who I've connected to and become friends with. Uh, some of those people I've lost in the last few years. They left, they crossed over, and it's being able to have people in my life that I could talk to, that I could bounce things off of, who I could share, my personal life and then my public life, and who wouldn't blow smoke up my ass, who would just say, you know what, Collier, and they would just deliver it straight. You need to do this, this, and this. Forget about that, etc., etc., etc. Like like any best friend that you would have, who just no matter what happens, they've got your back and they love you no matter what, because you're there, you've connected on that level, and they're far and few in between. When you have people like that in your life, you go to them, um, and they help you get back on course, or they tweak your mindset, or they call you out, to put you back on the path. I am so grateful for every one of those people who I have met throughout my life. Even the assholes, even the assholes. Today, I can honestly say that I'm extremely grateful for those assholes who screwed with me, who fucked with my family, who threatened my life, because today I am more clear than ever what I don't want, and what I don't want for my children, or what kind of a world I want them to be in. And that's because of those assholes. So, wisdom comes from experience, and experience comes from bad decisions or poor judgment. And I'm grateful for it all. Would I necessarily want to do it again? No, no, I don't think I would. But what is it that they say? It's not how hard you hit your head or how hard you fall. It's about how many times you keep getting back up. And that's a fact. You have to keep getting back up. If you don't get up, then you've given up on yourself. Never mind the rest of the world, you've given up on you. And I'm just way too stubborn and ornery to do that. You know, um, many times I wanted to stop. Many times I wanted to walk away. And there was one time I was done. I was absolutely done. And I had a visit from Mornay, and he just looked at me and he said this telepathically, and I knew it was serious because he didn't use his vocal cords. He just looked at me telepathically and he said, "Well, what about the kids?" And I knew exactly what he meant. What about the kids? The kids that were underground and everything else that I talked about back in the early 90s. Reset. Reset. You know, how could I just discard them and then go home to mine? I couldn't do that. There's no way to do that. There's no way to live with yourself and do that. Honestly, there are just some days I don't know how I got it. I don't know how I got through it. I just don't know. But like with anything, whether they're large steps or small steps, you just keep moving forward. You rest, but you take a step forward. You don't take a step back. You keep taking a step forward. And you don't have to take a lot of steps one day. It can be 1 or 2 steps, but you just keep moving forward. And somehow, some way, you get to where you want to go. Sometimes you don't even know where you're going, but when you get there, you recognize it. Oh, this is where I wanted to be. And it's like an epiphany. Sometimes life is just that way. As long as you don't give up on yourself. Because you're done then. Then you're done.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found it insightful, please like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on future updates. If you have any questions relating to today's video, please also leave them below. We read all the comments and take on board what our viewers have to say about Alex Collier's work. Remember, your support helps Alex Collier's knowledge and the messages from the Andromedans reach more people. If you'd like to support the channel even more, you can give us a super thanks tip by clicking the heart icon with a $sign. It really helps our team bring you more content. Also, be sure to visit alexcollier.org to sign up for our regular email newsletter. It's the best way to stay updated with the latest news, exclusive content, and upcoming live webinars. For the latest insights from Alex Collier, check out alexcollier.live. And if you want to explore over 250 past webinars, head over to alexcollier.tv. Thank you for being a part of this journey and supporting Alex Collier's work. We couldn't do this without you, and we're genuinely grateful for your support. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the vast mysteries of our universe. If you would like to see the Andromedan contactee Alex Collier live via video stream, we hold a live online seminar every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information on upcoming live webinars, please visit alexcollier.org.